Chris, come on. I love so many things about the show. The thing I love about it too is that it is perfect for longtime fans. It's also perfect for brand new fans. Why is the show that way? How did you guys pull that off?
The idea going in was our manifest was we're making a show for every kid who grew up watching the original show in the early 80s. That was the marching orders from Netflix and from Mattel. They weren't like, we don't want anyone else, but they were like, that's who we're going after. So when I came in, I was just like, all right, like I'm down with that. That's fantastic. We could probably catch others. I said, based on my experience growing up, like my dad took me to see Raiders of the Lost Ark when it first came out. And that was the day that I saw and met my father for the first time. And I'd known him ever since I was born, but he always presented himself as dad and stoic and like, I'm in charge. In that movie theater, I watched him reduced to being a child. He was like, this is the movie I grew up watching and they would make us come back next week. This is crazy. And like, I got to see a version of my dad I never got to see before. So for this, I was like, look, if you're 40, 50 years old and you love Masters of the Universe and you got a kid, there ain't no chance you're not gonna sit down with your kid and watch it. And so we made it like accessible to people. Like there's a lot of exposition. So characters kind of let you know where they came from and what they did and whatnot. But it's also designed to continue the storytelling. For example, most things we consume, storytelling we consume, it's told to us and we're like, that's entertaining, thank you. It doesn't really allow us to engage in the storytelling. When you're somebody who knows the IP insanely well and you're sitting down with a virgin, you have the pleasure of pausing periodically to be like, let me explain things to you. And you become the storyteller as well. So we knew that was going to be baked into it and we kind of shaped in there. And I knew we'd nail it for old fans. Yeah. We were just always hoping that like new fans would be like, oh, and so far that seems to be the case.
Absolutely. Listen, I didn't realize this until I was watching the show last night. It turns out I think I'm an Orko guy. I think he's my favorite character in the entire franchise.
That makes me so happy.
And he's so well done in this show. If you had to pick, I hate to make you pick your babies, do you have a favorite character in the entire He-Man Masters of the Universe franchise?
Orko is very special to me, our iteration of Orko, because I'll never forget the conversation that we had in the writer's room with me, Eric, and Dia, and Tim, and Mark. We were going through the show and going like, look, Orko, it's not even 50-50. It's like 75-25. 75% of people just did not like the character and like, oh, he ruined the show for me and shit like that. So we were like, all right, let's change that. How do you make Orko the most beloved character? And so we introduced this kind of broken, sadder, wiser version of Orko who still has this youthful voice and childlike enthusiasm for adventure. And like, he's got this moment where like, even if you hated Orko your whole life, when he has that moment where he's talking about like, please let me come along with you. I won't mess up this time. Like he sounds like a 5-year-old who just wants to be involved in stuff. I love Orko, but one of my favorite characters in this entire arc is what we do with the Evil Lynn character. And wait until you see what we do with her in part 2, because it's kind of like low-key her story as well. Like basically our two main female characters of Teela and Evil Lynn in the first 5 episodes have to deal with like, wait, if I'm not defined by this person, who am I? And have to redefine themselves. And Teela goes hard-hearted for a while and then slowly kind of comes back, whereas Evil Lynn gets soft-hearted until she kind of gets dragged back. So her storyline, I remember Ted, our boss, Ted Biaselli at Netflix, he was like, I love Evil Lynn. Make sure you handle her right. And I was like, who the loves Evil Lynn? Of all the characters you got, why Evil Lynn? And by the end of this series, I was like, I love her too. Like we did some great things with her.
Look at my toys.
Oh my gosh, you got the whole set right there.
I got the whole set, man. When are yours coming?
I know I need to make some space because I watched the show last night. I loved it. It blew me away. It really exceeded my expectations.
Isn't it so good? We're all so jazzed about it.
I cannot wait for everybody to watch it. It's going to be great. Chris, my first question is for you. Can you describe the moment where you learned that your arch nemesis would be Mark Hamill?
There was a bit of I pooped my pants.
Thank you. That's the sound clip I was looking for. Okay, great. Sarah, Teela.
I did not pee in my pants.
No, you're a professional, Sarah. That's right.
What was the moment like when you found out Chris was going to be on his job?
I said, "Who's Chris?"
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
I'm totally kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Hector,
from
there's
earlier.
your
I would
sound
never
bite.
say that.
Publish it.
Boom! It's going up on Nerdist. My question for you, Sarah, is Teela. This version of Teela is such a fantastic character. She's really the heart of the show. And in a way, it feels like she's kind of, as a character, stepping into the spotlight after all of these years. How might this version of Teela surprise longtime fans?
Well, I think it'll surprise them entirely because I don't think they're expecting her to be the centerpiece and sort of the moral compass and emotion of the show, because you hear He-Man and you automatically think of, or you hear Masters of He-Man and Skeletor. And while Teela was in every episode, she didn't make an impression in that way. And that was really important to Kevin to sort of tell that other side of the story about what happens when you're part of the world, but you're not the center of that world. And how does that affect you and how you feel about yourself and your surroundings.
Man, I just can't wait for everybody to watch this show. I love Teela.
It's how we feel.
I loved her friendship with Andra. Tiffany, this is amazing. This is the first time this character is appearing in animated form, which is awesome. She was originally in the Masters of the Universe comics. Tell us about this character and tell us about her relationship with Teela. How do they know each other?
You get a glimpse of her in the comics, like you said, but this character is really just name only homage kind of to that character. And we meet her at a point where, you know, Teela and her are kind of just this best friend duo that are running around Eternia looking for old relics. And it kind of, to me, has a vibe of Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings and a little bit of like Indiana Jones, because they, of course, get into trouble and, you know, are looking for crazy things in crazy places. But what I loved so much is that, you know, there's one line she says where I'm the brains and she's the brawn, that they need each other. And I think that's something that's so cool on a show like this, where it's a character that is new and I kind of get to be the audience's eyes. Like, it reminds me, you'll get this reference, Hector, but like it's a little bit Barry Allen. It's a little bit of like, oh my gosh, where am I? This is so cool. Which is how I feel. To be part of it, because yes, when the name of cast came out, Michelle Gellar, Tiffany Smith, who's that?
What were you going to say, Chris?
I'm going to say, why wouldn't Sarah and I know the Barry Allen reference? Why is that just for Hector?
Well, because Tiffany and I.
Okay, you guys have a history. We get it. Sarah and I are best friends too. So.
Yeah.
Comics show together. We hosted on a DC comic show together. So.
Wow, that's history.
That's history. Chris, I am dying to know, what is the correct way to perform? What's your advice to perform He-Man's iconic catchphrase? How do you do it?
You should have him do it right now. It's so great live.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I'm not warmed up, Hector.
No. But you did it for every other. He did it for every other interview, Hector. Everyone. He must just not want to like you. I don't. Yeah.
Chris, come on. I'm sure that it is amazing, but I would kind of rather have Chris, because I could tell that you're really embarrassed. I really would like you to do the line.
I listen. I do it quite a bit for the show. We don't want to spoil it. It's in the trailer. I'm tired. No, it's honestly it was a bit of like fanboy moment getting to like, I think that was one of the first things we did too. It was sort of like everyone's there in the first session, like the hi hellos, nice to meet everybody, and then it's like, should we start with I have the power just to like do it?
So you were like, kind of like you're like, hi, I'm Chris, I have the power. Hi, I'm Chris, I have the power. Hi, I'm Chris.
Basically, yeah, basically. But I think there was sort of like a, let's kick this thing off with a bang. I was one of the first people to record. So it was like, let's like do this. And I was like, maybe the first one should just be bad so that I can get it out of the way and then we can move on. And I think it's actually the one that's in the show.
That is fantastic.
I think that's the one they used.
Guys, I'm out of time, but I'm so happy for all of you. I can't wait for everybody to see the show. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, Hector.